Chapter 25. A Triumph for Penny. Hours elapsed, or so it seemed to the prisoners in the underground room. The water from the rising river slowly crept higher until it swished about Penny's ankles. An attempt to free herself only made the cords cut more deeply into her flesh. Why doesn't Louise come? She thought miserably. Something must have happened to her. Hope of a rescue was fast ebbing away, but Penny tried to maintain a cheerful attitude, assuring Nellie and Melvin O'Sandra that help would arrive in any minute. "I don't suppose it matters a great deal now," she presently said to the girl, "but I wonder how you came to be mixed up in all this mess." "It was all due to that horrible creature," Nellie answered. "I believed her to be Mrs. Farmer. She asked me to make a witch doll. I thought it was only for a joke, and I did as she requested. We sent the doll to Miss Harmon in a box bearing the name of my shop." "You didn't write that threatening note?" "No, Mrs. Farmer, that man wrote it." "Weren't you suspicious, Nellie?" "Not right at first. Later, when I began to guess that something was wrong, I was terribly afraid. I thought I might be arrested. Oh, Penny, if only I'd taken your advice and refused to sell the shop to Mrs. Farmer." "It was a natural mistake to make. Then what happened?" "I didn't suspect the truth until Miss Farmer took over the shop. After that, she wasn't so careful. She set me to making witch dolls. The idea being to frighten Miss Harmon out of her wits by replacing the original doll whenever she disposed of it." "I'm not sure. I think that was the scheme." "When did you learn about the truth about Mrs. Farmer's identity?" "The very first day, quite by accident. I saw her remove her gray wig. Then she pushed back the kitchen range and went down into the hole in the ground." "You never suspected the tunnel was here, Nellie?" "No, but I should have had an inkling. My shop building was a very old one. In fact, I've been told it dates back to the Civil War times and was built by a man who bitterly opposed slavery." "He may have been an underground railroader," Penny exclaimed. "I figured it that way. The tunnel leading to the river probably was built as an escape route for smuggling people from the South. Ivan Lavelle learnt about it and decided to make use of it for his own cruel purposes. Yes, he was determined to get the shop at any cost. I'm sure he was the one who smashed my dolls so that I would be in the mood to sell." "There's one thing I can't understand, Nellie," said Penny. "Why did you go away with Lavelle when he came to our house? Had you any idea he was an escaped convict?" "No, I only knew that he'd been masquerading as Mrs. Farmer. The man said that he wished to talk with me and that if I did not come, he would make trouble for you." "I thought it might be something like that." "It was a mistake for me to leave your home," Nellie went on. "Lavelle made a prisoner of me, bringing me to this dreadful tunnel." Melvin O'Sandra had listened to the story. He now offered his thoughts, speaking hesitantly because of the pain he had suffered from his half-paralyzed limbs. "The man has a twisted mind. He fancies that Helene and I were responsible for sending him to prison. I now know that he robbed her of the diamond necklace that evening at my establishment." "Did you never suspect Lavelle had assumed a hunchback disguise?" Penny questioned. "He fooled me completely. You see, I had never seen Lavelle but twice until he began to work for me, and he had altered his appearance. Then he used makeup and a fake hump on his back." "How did you come to employ him?" "Well, only my old assistant quit, and I needed somebody. This fellow offered to work for half price. He was an ugly creature, but I thought his appearance might add to the general weird atmosphere which I tried to achieve." "And you never were suspicious of him?" "No, Spider did his work well. He was with me several months, and I learned to take him for granted. Yet all the while he was biding his time, waiting for a chance to strike." "Yes, he had worked out the scheme of revenge. and he carried it through to the last detail. First, he warned me, do you remember that voice? Could one ever forget? I should have been suspicious then, but Spider had altered his voice. How did he produce the effect? Oh, he knew all the secrets of my trade. He entered the cabinet and spoke from there. Since I trusted Spider, I believed him when he swore he could not explain the mysterious voice. I wondered why he gave you a warning at all. The fellow enjoyed my mental suffering. He tried to play upon my feelings, building up the big moment. He tried the same trick upon your sister. By making the witch doll reappear whenever she disposed of it, he led her to believe in the supernatural. Lavelle must have been the person who created the disturbance in the theater, and he frightened Miss Harmon half out of her wits by imprinting a witch doll picture on the back of the wall of the building. I can't see how he made the doll reappear after my sister had thrown it away, Osander declared. Oh, that was done through her maid, Felice. It was easy for the woman to substitute another doll whenever the original vanished. Undoubtedly, she gave Lavelle information about the necklace, too. He paid her for her work. Oh, the man worked out his plan very cleverly, Osander said bitterly. I fell into his trap like an innocent babe. How were you brought here? Asked Penny. I was bound that night at the parlor. Lavelle, dressed as Spider, entered the cabinet and, protected by darkness, jerked me through the panel. He swung me on his shoulder and, in a special constructed sack, carried me to an automobile waiting in the alley. I couldn't shout because he had clapped a gag into my mouth. The man had the strength of a demon. And the worst is that he has escaped, Nellie added with a moan. We'll drown and no one will ever learn the truth. The river may not come very high, said Penny cheerfully. Anyway, it'll take hours. Before that, someone surely will come. We might try calling for help. We've already tried, Nellie answered. Voices can't be heard in the doll shop. If I ever get out of this mess, I swear I'll give up my place on Clark Street and go into a different line of work, Osander muttered. And there's no chance of us escaping. Even as he spoke, the three were startled to hear the indistinct murmur of voices somewhere in the passageway. That can't be Felice or Ivan Lavelle, Penny exclaimed. Scream for help. Melvin Osandra was too exhausted to offer more than a hoarse croak, but the two girls made the tunnel echo with their shouts. Hello! Called a voice from a long distance away. In another minute they saw a light, and several shadowy figures came running along the passage. With a thrill of joy and relief, Penny recognized her father, Louise, and 5 blue-coated policemen. Here we are, Dad, she shouted. Are you all right? Mr. Parker cried, rushing to his daughter. Yes, she answered. Don't worry about me. Just get the others out of here. Mr. Osandra is in bad shape. And start the police after that convict, Ivan Lavelle. He's already on the way to lockup, said Mr. Parker, working at Penny's fetters. Lavelle was captured. Yes, along with Miss Harmon's maid, Felice. How that woman could scratch and bite, I know, because I held her until the police snapped cuffs on her wrist. I thought they both would get away. So many hours have elapsed. Not that long, said Louise. I hurried as fast as I could. We got back here just as Lavelle and the woman were leaving the shop. There was quite a chase, and it took time before we could get them subdued. And to think I missed all the excitement. I'd say you were in the thick of it myself, Mr. Parker declared. In another 2 hours, at the rate the river is rising, you'd have been drowned. When I think of it, then don't, laughed Penny. I'm quite all right, only I wish I had worn my rubbers. I'm sorry it took us so long to reach you, Louise apologized. You see, I never dreamed you would go down into the tunnel. I thought probably you'd find your hiding out somewhere near the shop. The police quickly freed Melvin O'Sandra, but the man was too weak to walk. They carried him upstairs and sent for an ambulance. Then, is he in any danger? Is he sick? Penny asked anxiously. No, he should be himself again in a week or so, said one of the policemen. Nellie seemed little the worse for her experience, save that she had a bad cold. We'll send you to the hospital too, Mr. Parker told her. Several days' rest will do wonders for you. Then we'll bring you home with us until you are able to reestablish yourself in the doll shop. This place will have such dreadful memories, Nellie murmured. Oh, we'll find you a better building, Penny declared. You've been so kind to me, Nellie said, tears streaming down her face. I don't know how to tell you. Please don't try, Penny replied gently. Just hop into the ambulance and go to the hospital like a good child. I'll ride with you, Louise offered, realizing that Nellie might feel deserted. She climbed into the vehicle after Nellie. The ambulance pulled away, and Penny was left alone with her father. Dad, don't you think Lavelle's capture might make a good newspaper story? She asked. A good story, he echoed. Why, it's tremendous. We'll scoop every paper in town if we hurry. Hey, taxi! Hailing a passing cab, he pulled Penny into it, and they sped towards the Star office. Already Mr. Parker's mind was thinking in terms of headlines. We'll play it for all it's worth, he murmured. A screaming banner that Lavelle has been captured, an account of the police battle, then your own signed story of what happened in the tunnel and the events leading up to O'Sandra's mysterious disappearance. You really want to write the story? Penny asked incredulously. I do. Think you can swing it? Well, we'll have to get those presses rolling in double quick time. I'll try my hardest, Dad. You really were responsible for Lavelle's apprehension, Mr. Parker went on. Shouldn't be surprised if you and Louise would win an award. Honestly, then maybe I'll have money enough to put Leaping Lena on the highway again. The Star office was thrown into a state of feverish activity as Mr. Parker and his daughter descended upon the staff. Great story, the newspaper owner barked to DeWitt, the city editor. Ivan Lavelle captured by the police. We're going to town on it. Right, snapped DeWitt. Livingston, get down to the station. Telephone in the latest. We'll want photographs. Where's Gregory? Penny heard no more, for her father pushed a typewriter in front of her. He shot a long sheet of yellow copy paper into the roller. No flower English, he said. Write it simple. Shoot straight from the shoulder and shoot fast. Penny stared at the blank sheet of paper for a moment. She pecked out a sentence, crossed it out, and started again. Never mind the lead, Mr. Parker said nervously. DeWitt can take care of that. Dad, this story is mine? Penny moaned. I wish you'd go away and leave me alone. I can do it, but not with you hovering over me. Mr. Parker nodded and went to his own typewriter. The steady tap of the key seemed to give Penny the confidence she needed. Soon she was writing as rapidly as her father, and now and then a chuckle escaped her as she wrote a sentence which practically pleased her. When DeWitt came and looked over her shoulder 10 minutes later, she scarcely was aware of his presence. She did hear him say to her father in an undertone, "Going great. I'll not have to change a word." Before Penny had finished the story, DeWitt jerked off the first part of it so he could write the headline. She kept on, and at last wrote 30 at the end of her copy. The tale was ended in the allotted time. "I'm proud of you, Penny," Mr. Parker declared. "I didn't see your story, but DeWitt said it was fine." "You may not like one paragraph," she hinted. "Oh, I'll take DeWitt's judgment any day, Penny. We scooped the town. Jerry Livingston sent in Lavelle's signed confession from the police station. The man has given up Miss Harmon's diamond necklace, and other stolen loot. He plotted everything just about as you figured it out. Maybe I'll make a reporter yet. You're the best man on the staff now, Mr. Parker laughed. What will happen to Lavelle and the woman Felice? Oh, they'll both get prison terms. Lavelle still has an old sentence to serve. And Nellie? She'll not be held. It will be easy to prove that she had no real part in the witch doll affair. Penny rocked back in the swivel chair and sighed. It's fun being a reporter, she observed, but it's too exhausting a life. After this, I shall rest upon my laurels. However, the future files of the Star were to carry another remarkable tale, a mystery yarn, widely proclaimed under the name The Vanishing Houseboat. But this, of course, Penny could not know, nor did she realize that her own name had been played up in the present story. When a copy of the paper was placed in her hand, she stared in astonishment. Why, Dad, you shouldn't have written me up like this, she protested. I'll be almost as notorious as Lavelle, but in a slightly different way. Mr. Parker smiled. He glanced at the paper, and a smile crinkled the corners of his lips. Say, what's this? Oh, you mean the paragraph about the witch doll? Penny asked aridly. Didn't I warn you? It would finally make front page news one day? That end. Thanks for listening.